So here we have lovely La Feria de Sevilla. So this year it's in May. It's the Feria de Abril, the April fair, but this year it actually falls in May because it always depends on when Easter week falls. So there you'll be able to experience a very Sevilla experience, which is the Feria de Abril. So we're going to start right away with departure, right? Before we get you ready for departure, we're going to start with departure day. How many of you on the group flight? I should have asked, and I didn't ask yesterday. Okay, a lot of you independently got your own flight there, a few of you. Okay, so we're going to do a slide for those of you on the group flight. Have you looked at your flight itinerary? That is in the document section of the portal. There you'll be able to find your full itinerary, which I'm going to give you on the next slide. It is important that you have a copy of it. We will be sending you an actual physical copy of the itinerary with the e-ticket number about 10 days prior to departure. So you'll get an UPS envelope to your permanent address, and it will have that copy of that group flight and 2 green luggage tags that look exactly like that. Those of you not on the group flight, you won't get a copy of the itinerary, but you will get some luggage tags and some other information in that package. All right, when you are on the group flight, staff will meet you at the airport on arrival. So it is up to you all to get to LAX on your own, check in, take the flight, and then when you get to Spain, to Sevilla, we'll have your AIFS staff to meet you at the airport in the arrival hall and take you to the group hotel. No, it's now to Sevilla. Yeah, we actually changed it up because we had less students, so we actually switched it up and got them on the flight, so there won't be an overnight anymore. All right, so here you have the group flight information. You'll be departing LAX at 9:50 a.m. on February 21st. Before she said that was a Friday.
The 20th is a Wednesday.
All right, so it's Thursday. That first slide was wrong then, wasn't it? Okay, so it's Thursday, February 21st. Sorry about that. You're taking American Airlines from LAX to Dallas-Fort Worth, and you have a short layover of about an hour and a half, and you'll be departing DFW for Madrid. When you'll get to Madrid the next day, it's an overnight flight at 8:40 a.m., sorry, and then you have just under 3-hour layover, so you'll be able to enter through customs, and then, but your luggage will be automatically transferred because you're booked all on the same flight, but you'll be able to clear your own immigration, and then you will go to Seville on the hour flight, all right, with Iberia. There is your return flight information, but like I said, May is a long way away, so we're not going to worry about that. If you have done your own flight over to Spain, if you know your flight itinerary, then we ask that you email it to our staff in Spain as soon as you possibly can. Please, that's the email address for the Spain team, spain@aifs.co.uk. It's not .com. Our Spanish staff work with a British server, so use that, spain@aifs.co.uk. Put your name in the program Southern California Foothills Consortium, SCFC, in the reference line, so that way it helps us organize with the different groups we have going to different cities in Spain. If you're arriving before February 22nd, which I know we have one student who mentioned this morning that he was going to do that, he wanted the information for the Seville hotel. I think the best thing to do is to email the Spanish team, and they will email you back the information. All right. They'll also give you really clear instructions on how to get from the airport in Madrid or Seville to the hotels. So that's a really good thing. Check-in at hotels is after 3 p.m. So if you arrive earlier than that, just know that you will probably have to wait in the lobby until a room is available. All right. So just plan around 3 p.m. and your room will definitely be ready. As far as going to LAX, remember that traffic is in LA. I know I've only been here for about 4 years, and that was the biggest shock of my life because I'm originally from New York. The amount of traffic and how long it takes to LAX is unbelievable, but you want to check in 3 hours before. Hopefully the shutdown will have been resolved by then, But I know that now with TSA and furloughs and things like that, they recommend that you be in the airport 3 hours ahead of. Okay, so remember to do that. The e-ticket confirmation, make sure you have that on you. Make sure you have your passport on you. Don't pack it in your luggage because it won't do any good for you. In your carry-on, you'll probably have one carry-on and one checked baggage. Remember, you'll have to look at the airline restrictions, but generally transatlantic flights include one 50-pound suitcase, one carry-on, and one personal item. So your carry-on should weigh about 10 to 15 pounds and should be no larger than a small roller. And your personal item can be a small backpack, a purse, a laptop bag, something like that, okay? Definitely, whenever I travel, I like to travel as if my luggage were going to be lost. Now, I've been traveling since I was, 18, 19 years old, and back then in the 80s, it was very common for your luggage to get lost. With today's technology, that doesn't happen often, but it could happen. So the best thing to do is in your carry-on, pack a full set of clothes. Pack something to sleep in, pack something to wear the next day. It is miserable to have to sleep in your travel clothes and then go through the first day activities in your travel clothes. It's awful. So definitely pack a full set of undergarments, something to sleep in, and something to wear the next day in case your luggage is lost. Make sure that you carry your medication on you, anything that you need. It's always a great idea to have a small first aid kit with analgesics, with some Band-Aids, stuff like that in case you need it. A little toothbrush, little toothpaste. You can find all that stuff at Walmart for like $1 each. So it's a really good idea to have a very well-packed carry-on. You'll be happy that you went through that trouble if your luggage were to be lost. If you're traveling on your own and you're delayed, or you're traveling with a group flight and you're delayed, you miss a flight, then it's really important that you shoot an email to that spain@aifs.co.uk email. Otherwise, as far as travel, remember it's waiting in line a lot. It is paying attention to announcements, paying attention to boards. Gates can change, times of flights can change. Sometimes there's delays. Sometimes people get there and they can leave a little bit early. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention, you're patient, and that you are relaxed. Yes?
I would also recommend that you download the app for the airline.
Oh, yeah.
I just got stranded in Miami
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, and we found out through the app, and we were able to reschedule our flight super
Yeah.
fast, but we had to wait a day. But if it hadn't been for that app,
You wouldn't have
might
known.
been stranded there
That
for
is
days.
excellent. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
My question is for people who maybe have never been through customs before.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what's expected in terms of like picking up your checked bag?
Sure.
So
So when you get to Madrid, when you get to Dallas Fort Worth, if you have any, in those of you traveling on your own, if you have any kind of a domestic connection, you'll just literally get off your plane, make sure you have all of your things, carry on, and then go find your next gate, right? So if you don't know your next gate, you'll look for a departures board and you'll find your next gate. That's easy. Get on your plane, get to Spain. Once you get to Spain, it's sort of a two-step process. You will go through immigration, which means that you will present your passport to a customs officer in a little cubicle. Generally, with American passports, they don't do much more than just look at it, look at you, and let you go. Right? If they ask you what you're doing in Spain, technically you're there under a tourist visa. So the easiest thing to do is to say you're there for tourism. Any program in Spain under 90 days they don't grant student visas. If you say you're studying, then starts the whole explanation process of I'm a student, but I'm here for so the easiest thing to do is just say you're a tourist. They probably won't ask. But if that happens, that's what you do. So generally, they don't stamp passports. Sometimes they do, but generally they don't. And people who ask for passports generally get a no, and they let you go. You'll take your passport and you'll proceed to the luggage carousel. So you'll find your checked bag, right? You'll have your carry-on with you. You'll pick up your checked bag, and then from there you'll go through customs. And customs generally are more police officers that they'll have a items to declare line and a nothing to declare line. And since you are just arriving in the country for the first time, all of the things that you're bringing with me are used, and for personal use, you'll have nothing to declare. So you go through that line. Generally, they don't bother you or do anything with it, okay? Yeah? Yeah, sure, absolutely. There we go. I think I just kind of covered all of that, except if you are missing a bag, if your bag doesn't make it to Spain, then it is important before you exit the luggage area, you go to the Iberia Lost Luggage desk and you fill out a form. So you'll just have to give them your luggage tag that they'll give you on check-in. It's important that you keep that safe in a safe place. You'll give them the AIFS address, which is in the handbook and in this presentation. It's the school address. And then they'll probably locate your bag where it is, because with electronic and technology, they're generally pretty easy to locate on the spot. And then what they do is they'll deliver your luggage to you in Sevilla when it gets to Spain. Okay, generally it takes about 24, maybe 48 hours after you arrive for lost luggage to get to you. But you don't have to worry about it, they'll find it. If your luggage were to be lost, you fill out the claim, tell one of your classmates to let AIFS staff waiting know that you've lost your luggage. You're filling out have them exit and find staff, because our staff, for security reasons, is not allowed in the luggage area since they're not ticketed passengers. Let them know, because they're taking roll and counting and making sure everybody is coming out. And then you can give them that luggage sheet, that lost luggage sheet, and they will start to contact the airline for you and find it and give you updates on when it's coming. Okay. All right, that's about it for that. Once the group gets all together and you're ready to go, we'll have a transfer from the airport to the hotel. And that if you have any issues or delays, you can call this cell phone number. So this is your emergency phone when you're there in Spain. Parents can keep this number, and you'll be able to call that or text them if you're lost, if you have any issues or delays. You can also email them. They monitor it.
So if we are flying on our own, not part of the
Yes.
flight, it is up to us to get to our hotel?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So as soon as you email your itinerary to the spain@aifs.co.uk, they will send you directions back and the hotel information. If you'd like to try and book the hotel for a night before the group gets there and all of that, email them now and explain that you need the hotel information so that you can book your hotel on your own.
You said that they would explain an itinerary from Madrid or
They
something.
absolutely will. So
What about if I'm landing in Barcelona?
they probably do Barcelona too, but tell them in the email and they can help you with that. So you don't know how you're going to get from Barcelona to Seville yet.
No.
You're deciding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking about a bus or like the train, but then if I'm going to be doing it by myself, that's
Yeah,
one of the things.
the best thing to do is probably a flight. All right, it's about an hour and 15, an hour and a half flight. A bus would take a long time.
But you see the countryside, And
But-
I'm going a couple of days early, so.
Okay, yeah. But so a bus straight there, I think, is
Like
around
5-6 hours. Yeah.
no more.
More?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I was saying like 6 hours.
Is that many from Sevilla?
Because I've
More,
done California.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna
I'm
say.
You can talk to me.
Okay.
I think upward of 12.
Yeah, it's like 12 hours.
Yeah.
12? Okay, because I was like, I've done
Don't do
from
that.
here to.
Yeah, don't do that.
They don't. There's no straight buses. Probably there's probably stop.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your orientation program when you get there. So the February 22nd, you'll have your arrivals and check into the hotel. On February 23rd, you'll have your orientation with our staff. So it will be Sarah, Edu, and Rita. In the afternoon, you'll move into your accommodations, either your student apartment or your homestay. On February 24th, we'll do a morning sightseeing tour, so it'll give you a good orientation of what's to see and where everything is in Sevilla, the must-sees. On the 25th, your classes will begin at 9 a.m. Afternoon workshops, culture sign-ups, and the 26th, your courses continue. All right, so all students, either group flight or own travel, you're all spending the night in the hotel on the 22nd. That's included in the program. All right, excellent. There we have the Plaza de España. Just to note some dates for your class schedule. Your classes begin on Monday the 26th. Thursday the 28th is your first Spanish holiday on Dia de Andalucía. So the school will be closed. Most stores and shops will be closed in Andalucía. You'll have restaurants and things to do for fun are open, movies, restaurants, things like that. On March 1st will be your first makeup class day, Thursday schedule. And then generally, Citrus administration has arranged a class schedule that allows for many 4-day weekends. So to give you plenty of time to do independent travel and not miss class, right? It's important. Remember, classes are mandatory. You have to attend. And it's important that you not miss class to travel. So we have arranged this very special schedule for you. So you'll have Monday, March 11th, Monday, March 25th, Monday, April 8th, and Thursday the 18th, or sorry, Monday the 8th off. So that will leave at least 3 4-day weekends for you. All right, during the semester that you can travel and do things on your own. You will have a Easter break. So that will be April 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. That will be Easter weekend. So you'll have those off. And Wednesday, May 1st is another Spanish holiday, Labor Day, essentially. All right. So when you get there, the staff will give you a calendar of class. So it's important that you write it down because it is a little confusing, a little different than what you're used to, because you will be attending, the weeks will change, right? So it is important that you stay organized and, you know, understand when you have 4-day weekends and when you don't, okay? Yes, please do.
I just wanted to say something.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this makes sense to everybody. So 1 week you will have class from Monday to Thursday. The following week will be Tuesday to Friday. So every other week you will have a 4-day weekend if you want to travel. The biggest challenge that I see when I have students in Spain, you will get horribly distracted. There is so much to do there. There's so much to do in Seville. There's so many places to travel to so cheaply. Be careful. I mean, you're there to have fun, of course, but you're also there to study and to take classes. And so your grades will suffer if you just get up late or decide that you're going to travel someplace and not come to class. Classes are strict, just as they would be here. You're required to attend class and to do your homework. So be sure to give yourself time for homework every day, okay? And be careful not to get too tired. If you get too tired, you're going to get sick. That's something that happens when you're changing diets, when you have a different climate. So try not to get run down. I don't mean to scare you. I just want you to have a good time and do well in your classes. This is just something to be careful about. Yeah.
Do they get a letter grade or is it a pass?
Oh, they
no
get a letter
pass?
grade just like they would here.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is important. You're going to learn, especially with Spanish, you're going to learn a lot of Spanish. But just because you're there and you're talking to people all the time. But you also need to study. So you need to give yourself time. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Well, thank you. Some activities that you need to plan in your calendar and not plan any other activities around would be Saturday, March 2nd. This will be an optional excursion that we planned very recently. We'll have take students to Jerez and Cádiz, which is two beautiful, typical southern Spanish towns. You'll be able to sign up for that and pay for that when you get to Sevilla. We'll have the optional weekend to Morocco, which I have a little more information about. That will be the 8th through the 11th of March. Unfortunately, it's full. We maxed out the bus, so you could email and the wait list, and if someone decides they don't want to go, we could do a switch, but right now, unfortunately, the bus is full. We'll have the mandatory Granada excursion, and you don't want to miss Granada. That's like my hometown, on March 31st. So that is mandatory part of your Spanish life and culture course. From the 18th to the 21st, like I mentioned before, you have that Easter weekend. So you have that 4-day weekend, which is Semana Santa. Also a great time in Sevilla. I mean, people travel from all over the world to Sevilla for those events that weekend. So you might want to hang out. The 5th through the 11th is the Feria de Abril. I know even though it's in May, it's the Feria de Abril. And that is a very typical local party that you don't want to miss. So it's 2 weeks long, so you have plenty of time to go visit the fairgrounds. And on May 11th, you have the other mandatory excursion to Córdoba. So you definitely have to make sure that you put that in your calendar and don't plan any other trips for that day. All right, again, this PowerPoint will be up on your documents library on Monday. Okay, here you have your local staff. So you have Edu Fadial, who is your program coordinator. He will be there at the airport to welcome you and pick you up. He has been instrumental in the planning of this program from the very beginning. Very excited to welcome you and take you successfully through this program. It was my guy. I hired him. I trained him. I worked for him for about 8 years. So I think, and Maya likes him, right? She's had a lot of contact with him. So I think you're going to really enjoy working with him. And then you have Rita, who Edu's been with the company for over 10 years. Rita has been with the company for 2 years. She's a native of Catalonia, and she does, she's sort of a traveling staff member, so she's done programs in Paris, she's done programs in Barcelona, Madrid, and now Sevilla. Ecuador too. She's done one of the Ecuador programs. And you have Sarah Plumley, who's not pictured there. She is based in London, but she is the supervisor for our Seville team. She will be there for the first 2 weeks of the program, and then we'll be back for a week or two every month. So
I have to say something.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
So what's happened in the past, and this is for the parents, I've had parents emailing me, asking me questions about your sons or daughters. I cannot respond to those questions. We have FERPA regulations, which are privacy laws that are very strict. I cannot talk to you about your kids in Spain, no matter what it is. So if you have any issues, they are the ones that you need to email because they're not faculty. So their regulations are different. So they won't be able to talk to you about their children's grades or anything. But if there's any other issue, they are the ones that you need to contact, okay? Thank you.
That said,
What are the emails from them?
what is the email from then? It's right there in that green bubble. It's the same email that I've been giving you the whole time. Same for all of them, right? So it's just helpful if you put in the, the subject line that you put your student's name and the Seville. That helps a lot. One suggestion, as a mother of a study abroader, which I didn't mention, but my sons are both citrus students. My son went to Costa Rica last January, and I know exactly how you feel. It's nerve-wracking. It's scary. I felt, even though they were going with AIFS, with citrus faculty, to staff that I knew and trained as well, I felt for that period that I couldn't breathe, right? It was sort of, no news is good news. You know that we are watching them, that we are taking care of them, that we have given them all the education and guidelines for a healthy and safe experience. You have to let them go, right? It's time for them to go out, become adults, become international citizens of the world, and learn their lessons. Because when they don't do what is expected and what is told, then we will help take care and remedy the situation. They'll know. If your student is coming and calling you, your child, they're calling you and saying, I don't like my roommate, I don't like my house, I don't like whatever, my best advice is you say, you have staff there in Seville that we have paid to take care of this. Go talk to them. Okay? It is so much better for us to deal directly with your child, and they have to learn how to vocalize their issues with the people that can remedy it. It is getting calls back to California, back to Spain is a waste of time and resources. You paid to have staff there with them 24/7 for the duration of the program. Use that resource that you paid for, please. Tell your child, go talk to Edu, go talk to Rita, and they will help you. All right? Our goal is to make everybody 100% happy 100% of the time. That said, it's not always possible, but we will try. Okay? Within possible. We certainly will try. All right? And I'm a parent too. I get it. My kid called me up and said, my roommate, he said to me, no me inspira confianza, which is a funny thing to say even in Spain. But when he was going to Costa Rica, he said, I met my roommate and I'm not really sure about him. And I said, go talk to your staff. I don't want anything to do with it. Even though I worked for the company, go talk to your staff. It's your problem. Go fix it. And he actually ended up relaxing, getting to know the kid. He wasn't best friends with the kid. They didn't do a lot together, but they found a median where they could live together, get to class together, do that, and then he made friends outside of his roommate. That's part of life, right? I remember when I was a freshman, my freshman roommate and I didn't become the best of friends, but we worked it out. And that's what we want your children to do, right? Hopefully the roommates will get along really well. So you have friendly and very experienced, well-trained staff, I have to say. They coordinate the accommodations, the Spanish Life and Culture course, the cultural activities, the classrooms, everything that is program logistics your local staff have done. They administer the program. They do student and faculty support. So they're there every day. They have regular office hours Monday through Friday. They participate in all of the activities. They run the activities. And then they are there to give advice and information, and they're there in case of emergency. So weekends, they're probably not in the office if they're not on an activity or a trip. But if there is an emergency, and I mean a real emergency, I have a fever, I need to see a doctor, I was robbed, something like that, then you'll have that emergency phone that was the contact phone, and I'll give it to you, I think, on the next slide as well, to call. All right, so all students should have calling capacity, at least for emergencies, and you can call that emergency phone, and arranging medical appointments. Like Anna said, and I'm going to give you a little similar talk about that, but if you need to see a doctor, then go see a doctor. You have wonderful medical insurance. Medical care in Spain is excellent, among the best in the world. I know I had 2 babies in that country and lived there for 28 years. Great doctors. And if you need a doctor, go see a doctor. You'll feel better a lot sooner, and you'll be back on your feet and running. Your student center is in the middle of the old Seville town, and I can't see when I look here. But you're in the center, downtown of Seville, very close to everything there is to do as far as museums and things like that. This is the address. The name of the school is Enforex, and that is the address. So you put the street and then the building number. The zip code is 41001, Sevilla, España. So this would be the mailing address, and again, this information is in your handbook. This is a picture of the patio in the school. Every good Sevilla building has a patio. You'll have your classrooms. You'll have your office where our AIFS staff will be located. You'll have a lot of international students from all over the world studying and learning Spanish at Enforex in the building with you. Not in class with you, but in the building with you. This is the terrace. It also features a nice terrace on the roof, which is a really nice spot to spend in between class, to study. You could do study groups there. It is open from 8:45 a.m. in the morning until 6:45 in the evening, Monday through Friday. So if you have time in between class, you can use the Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. You'll also be given a travel pass, which will be a card that looks like that red card there. You can use it on buses and trams, and you can see the map, and our staff will give you a map and explain to you how you can do it. The pass will be loaded with 50 euros worth of credit, and so that's enough to get to and back from class every day for the duration of the program. But you can also use it if you want when you are tooling around Sevilla and exploring on your own independently. So if you need to reload the card, it is very easy to do in the local kiosks, and our staff will teach you how to do that as well. As far as the apartments and the homestays, they are not especially in downtown Sevilla. They're generally within a 30-minute walking commute of the study center. So a lot of people walk in Spain, and I was just saying that to John. I am gaining weight in this country because I don't walk probably a tenth of what I did when I was in Spain. So walking is a great way to learn the city, and it is something that you're going to do every day. That is the number one thing that students complain about. I have to walk. What? I have to walk. I don't want to go because I have to walk. It cracks me up because you get on a treadmill at a gym and you pay, I don't know, what do you pay, $50 a month for a gym membership, and you walk on treadmills. This is free exercise. So definitely walk through the city. You'll learn neighborhoods. You'll learn city layout. You'll be going to class in a medieval city, right? One that was established, millenniums ago. So you'll learn all about that, and it's really interesting, and it is one of the most beautiful cities in Spain, without a doubt. All right. Also know that the apartment buildings are all apartments, right? That is, people in urban centers of Spain live in apartments, not houses. So even homestays will be apartments, and there'll be combinations of old and new. Elevators are not always guaranteed. You might live in a walk-up. So stairs are the best thing for the derrieres. So that is also free exercise. So remember, for the first day or two, you'll have to probably carry your luggage around a lot. So remember that too when you're packing. So there is a 30-minute walk. You could live on either side of the river. All right. That's an idea of where you'll walk. As far as the apartments, we'll have 4 to 6 students from the program in the apartments. They're what we call self-catered, so you'll have equipped kitchens with pots, pans, cutlery, plates, all of that good stuff. You'll be able to do your own cooking. You can do group meals, and that'll help save on some money. The rooms are all double rooms, twin bedded. We did offer the opportunity to sign up for a single, so anyone who signed up and paid for a single, then you definitely count on that. You have that. There are some single rooms, but the apartment continues to be a shared apartment. Shared living area and bathroom. You'll have Wi-Fi access, so as soon as you move in, you'll be given, the Wi-Fi number and the key. And you'll have bi-weekly cleaning service, which is really nice. So they'll go in, they'll clean up the kitchen, the bathrooms, and the floors. What they're really doing, too, is checking to make sure that you're not doing damage. Right? So remember, if you damage anything in the apartment, you're responsible for the reparation. You're responsible for paying for it. So make sure that you don't break things, you don't set things on fire. We're going to talk about that when we get to electricity, because that's not always meant. Sometimes it's accidental, but it's something you should be conscious of. And you should also clean up after yourself. You have to do your dishes. Right? And I know, I'm a mother. My kids leave their dishes in the sink still. You have to do your own laundry, do your own dishes. It's time to be an adult. Accommodations in the apartment, definitely be respectful of each other's habits and preferences. Communication, like John said, we find the biggest issues tend to be some of those passive-aggressive. Students talking about their roommates to other students, and it starts to become more and more of an issue. It builds up. So please avoid that. Be direct, be adult. You have to, unlike our government, come to an agreement. All right? So you have to learn how to negotiate like an adult, and, it's part of the learning process that is study abroad. Keep it clean and tidy. I mean, that can start issues. The one student that doesn't pick up after themselves in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the common rooms, that can sometimes become an issue. You'll have to put out the trash on a nightly basis, and our staff will educate you on when to take out trash. In Spain, you can't take out trash until after a certain hour at night, right? So they don't leave trash out in the streets in the day hours, partly due to heat and, decomposition and all of that stuff. So our staff will teach you how to take out your trash and how to recycle. There is mandatory recycling. So you'll have to separate your bottles and your plastics and your paper. Okay? 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. are legislated quiet hours. What does that mean? Well, remember, you're living in apartment buildings, and not we don't have one apartment building where we put everyone that chooses the student apartments. You are in apartment buildings with regular Spaniards that own and live their lives in that building. So if you are having a lot of friends over and you're making a lot of noise, your neighbors will call the police. All right. So after 11 p.m., noise has to be kept down to a minimum. That means when you come into the building and you're in the halls and you're chatting and you're laughing and it can become really loud until 7 a.m. in the morning. All right. And that also means having people in your apartment. All right. No late night partying. Because they will call the police, you will be issued a ticket and a summons. So that is not a fun thing to have to deal with. All right, and as far as overnight guests, they are not allowed in the apartment for anyone, and that is a general safety thing, right? You don't want your roommates bringing in random strangers that they just met, or, no couch surfing from your boyfriend who decided to take the semester off. That then becomes an issue for all your roommates. So the general rule is no overnight guests, all right? There are great hostels that are not like the movie, right? They're safe. You saw that movie? I mean, whenever I say the word hostel, people freak out. But you can get a lot of inexpensive, good, clean hostels around the city. So if you have people coming to visit, that is the option. Here you have a few photos, what your room will look like, your twin beds. So you will be given sheets, blankets, probably one of those nice edredon, and I can't think of it, duvet, thank you. When I go to Spain, I start to think, so you'll be given that. You'll have your desk, your lamp, that kind of thing. There's some pictures of your common rooms. So you'll have your dining room table, your couches, your TV. You'll have a TV. You'll have your router. Your kitchen will have stove, not necessarily oven. Spanish are not big oven users. They don't generally bake a lot, but you may have it, you may not. You'll definitely have a microwave, probably dishwasher, maybe not. And you will have your bathroom, shower, and a bidet. Everybody knows what a bidet is. Ooh. All right, that's a challenge. Who can learn how to use a bidet?
Not dryer.
Yeah, I think I have a slide on that. I'll get to that, yeah. So in your homestay, there will be 2 students to a homestay, so you'll share a double room with another student from the program. The bathroom will be shared with either for the students or with other members of the family, because remember, every apartment, every family is different. You'll have limited kitchen access, so you'll be able to store snacks, you'll be able to store yogurts, but you probably won't be able to cook in the kitchen. Spanish mothers are very motherly, and the kitchen is their domain. So remember, when you do the homestay, you'll get daily breakfast and dinner Monday through Friday prepared by your mamá española, right? Your señora, as they call them a lot. You'll get laundry done by the señora. Wi-Fi access as well, so you'll be given the passcode to the Wi-Fi, and no curfew, right? You don't have to worry, I have to be home at a certain time. You don't have to be home at a certain time. You just have to be respectful when you come in at night. Just like with the student apartments, when you come into a Spanish homestay at night, you just want to come in as quietly as possible, not turn on all the lights, not raid the fridge, not stomp through the house, right? Sometimes we generally tell the students, and your staff will go over this, to take off your shoes as you come in the house in the middle of the night, because heels and sneakers can make a lot of noise, right? Most of the surfaces in Spain are, especially in Sevilla, in the summer it's one of the hottest places in Spain, if not the hottest place in Spain, and the surfaces are meant to keep the house cool, so they can be very noisy. You know, there's a lot of tile, a lot of marble, and it can be very noisy at night when you're click along your neighbors will probably complain. Definitely learn a few key phrases, right? So you have to learn to do the Spanish kiss. So when you greet someone and meet someone for the first time in Spain, you do like the Beverly Housewives kiss. Así.
Hola.
Hola, encantada. So you do, you go left and you do cheek to cheek and you make a kiss noise. And you do the other one and you make a kiss noise. But you don't turn your head and kiss their cheek literally. Don't do that. You just touch cheeks. And you do 2. The French do 3. So that's when you meet someone for the first time in Spain. You do the hola encantada, mucho gusto. And remember, girls kiss girls, and girls and guys kiss, but guys don't kiss guys. Right? You do a handshake, unless your father, son, cousins, uncle, nephew, they would have a kissing relationship. But for your homestay dad or someone that you just meet as an intercambio, man to man is just a handshake, right? With Edu, the guys will shake Edu's hand, not kiss. Although Edu's had quite a few men kiss him right off the plane. So he's used to it. It doesn't scare him anymore. In the beginning, he was frightened out of his mind, but not anymore. So that's just a little tip that I can give you. And also, when you meet someone for the first time, you do that kiss. When you haven't seen someone in a while, you do that kiss. You've been away, right? You haven't seen them in a while. But every single day, you don't do the kiss. It gets a little pesado, as they say, a little annoying, right? So it's just, hola, adios, me voy, but you don't have to do the kiss every single little time. Unless you have a very, very friendly relationship. It's, who knows? Everybody's different. So definitely speak as much Spanish as you can. You're going to be surprised at how many people don't speak English. I think that was something that really surprised me when I first went to Spain. Definitely ask, right? If you're not sure about something, ask. Where do I live my laundry? When do you want my laundry? All of that stuff, ask. There's no one's going to bite your head off, right? They're going to answer your question and be happy that you asked and you communicated. Be patient. Give yourself time to adjust. Your living arrangements is also often the biggest adjustment, right? It is the hardest thing to kind of get used to. So be patient, relax, and you'll figure it out, right? A little bit of repetition and you'll learn what's expected of you. Know that every family is different. Some have the mama, the papa, and children. Some are just the mama and children. Some are just the mama and the papa, and the children are older and out of the home, and they come back for meals on weekends or during the week. Definitely be courteous and respectful when coming and going, and I explained about the kissing, but it is very common to, when you leave the home, you just don't leave. You say adios, all right? It is common to, it's courteous and well-mannered to say, I'm leaving, goodbye, right? So that, just disappearing is not very well-mannered, all right? And when you get home, hola, estoy en casa, right? Hi, I'm here. All right, you can just say hello. You can seek out your Spanish mama to say hello, but it is to come and, to make your presence known or that you're leaving is good mannered. All right, that is something that I have adjusted to, and it drives me crazy now when my very Californian children, who have been like chameleons, now disappear out of my home. It drives me up a wall. So it does that to Spanish mothers too. So also be mindful to turn off lights, appliances, and water. So the Spaniards live a very conscientious life, is what I like to call it. They're very conscious of everything that they do. And the attitude is very much toward saving and conservation. So just leaving lights on and leaving rooms is not, it's frowned upon. So if you leave a room, you turn off the lights. When you come back in, you can turn them on if needed. When you don't let the water run when you wash dishes or brush your teeth, things like that. Even when you're showering, you make it much shorter than probably what you're used to. So a 5-minute and under shower is what is expected of you. Our staff, when you get there, will go over that again. You can start practicing now. Your parents will be thrilled. Their Golden State water bill next month would be fantastic. Yes, ma'am. So I believe that there will be one member in your homestay family that will speak some English. Okay, if that is something that really is important to you, that you want someone that can speak English in your homestay, please email the AIFS staff, and we'll definitely make sure that we do that from the beginning. Okay? Yes.
Is it customary, rude, or somewhere in between to bring a small gift for the host family?
So I think bringing a gift is definitely appreciated and something that we encourage. Something for the home is nice. When my son went to Costa Rica, we brought a tablecloth, a nice tablecloth, and the lady in Costa Rica loved it. A box of chocolates or flowers or plant when you get there, so you don't have to come with something. You could, if you'd like, when you get there and you kind of get to know them and see, sort of what their house looks like, and you could go and get something there in Sevilla and bring it home. It could be pastries for the whole family. Something like that is fine. See's chocolates. A lot of people like to bring See's chocolates. That tends to be really popular. What I don't recommend tends to be the picture book of California, the picture book of your city, your area. It's not something that tends to be as popular. Right? And a lot of these families have had students for a while, so the books seem to kind of pile up, and that's something, if you expect a reaction, you probably wouldn't get it from a picture book, but you would get it from a nice tablecloth, and you can go get nice stuff at Target, Walmart. It doesn't have to be expensive, right? You don't have to spend more than $15, $20 maybe. I mean, nothing more than that, okay? But it is something that shows appreciation and will definitely be valued. As far as cultural differences for Spain, obviously expect that the majority of people you meet don't speak very much English at all. Expect unfamiliar food. Sevilla especially is known for its fried fish. So batter fried fish, so like fish and chips kind of thing. That is very popular. Excellent fish, something that me and my family miss terribly. The size, so everything is smaller and space is much more reduced. So the size of your kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom, shower will be much smaller than what you're used to. Even when you are out in the streets, you'll notice that people come a little closer than probably what you're used to. It is not uncommon to kind of be bumped into in the streets, especially by the older generation. So it is not something that's meant as aggressive. It's just the sidewalks are much narrower and you do tend to kind of bump into people. So, just, perdón, keep going. Lack of personal space is that people come a lot closer, right? Remember when you first meet somebody, it's very intimate to kiss on both cheeks, right? Very intimate, although the American hug is even more intimate. I find it is. The different attitudes toward everything. Spaniards like to live, right? So they don't live to work, they work to live, and I'm sure you've heard that. That is very true about Spain. They also enjoy activities outside the home. It is not very common to find that your homestay family will have guests over for dinner and weekend and to watch a movie and that kind of thing. That doesn't happen a lot. They go out and socialize. And there's a lot to do socially. You'll find a lot of activities and places, and it's sort of like living in downtown LA where you have theater and you have museums and you have nightlife spots and things. So it's really common to go meet people for coffee or tapa, and that's where you'll meet Spaniards. And your customer service, so sort of in line with that, they live to or work to live. You'll find that waiters can take a lot longer, that people take a lot longer over meals. And also be careful if you make large purchases or any kind of purchase, make sure you understand the refund and exchange policy, because they do vary according to the business, and so it is really good that you make sure you have a receipt, you keep the receipt, and that if you use something, it might not be returnable. So you definitely
Talk about tipping.
Tipping as well. Sorry, I forgot about that. So you don't have to tip the 20% that you tip here in the in restaurants. You don't generally tip for haircuts or taxis. Or if you get a drink at a tapas bar, you generally don't tip. If you eat out, generally, and it's been a while for me, but about €1 more a person you tip
At most.
at most. All right, so that's nice because if you eat out, it can be a lot less expensive than in the state than here. Smoking, expect that people smoke. All right, you'll find a lot of people that smoke. And although they do have laws that restrict smoking in restaurants and inside buildings, you will find a lot of people at the outdoor cafes. That's sort of the smoking section of the restaurants. So you will find a lot of smoke in the outside seating and sometimes in doorways. They smoke outside the doorway before they go in the building or come out for a smoke, that kind of thing. So expect that, all right? Definitely keep an open mind, and you are going to Spain with the best, with Ana Sali. And if you have any questions or why are they doing this, you've noticed things and it's driving you crazy. Definitely, you'll have Professor Ana and you'll have your staff to help you understand it. I remember a student who, in her homestay, the señora would go in every day and remake the bed, and leave the window open, and it drove the student crazy. And finally, she came and said, "Why is she doing this?" And I explained, why the señora does what she does, and it really did kind of help the student relax and figure it out.
Just remember that I am from Spain, and I came here when I was 19, and I didn't speak any English. So you're about to go through what I went through when I came here. So if you have any problems or concern, it is a little normal to be a little scared, a little anxious about it, and when you're there, the first week or 10 days, you'll be homesick. I had a lot of students a couple of years ago looking for Mexican restaurants. Spain. And by the time, by the third week, everyone was like, "Oh, it's going so fast. I don't want to go back, and the food is amazing." So just allow yourself to have those feelings and know that they're normal. Talk to me anytime. We're like a big family when we're there because everybody's away from their family. So we become each other's family, and we'll run into each other all the time out in the street and so on. So just go with the flow and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's what this is all about.
Yeah, students who expect Mexican or expect spicy food are disappointed. So
Yeah, there's no spicy food.
No
People
spicy
are
food.
shocked when I tell them I
Not
cannot
spicy.
eat spicy food. Spanish food is actually a lot closer to French food than it is to Mexican food. Very different. We don't do much. So I've had students who call their parents and have their parents ship them a bottle of Tabasco. So just keep that in mind.
yeah, I think you can find it in the Corte Inglés, I think. So there's some supermarkets where you can find some of the stuff. All right, so as far as the Spanish Life and Culture course, Ana, would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So the Spanish Life and Culture class is a really, really interesting class. It's every Tuesday, and the way we have arranged that is we have local lecturers coming every week, and they will talk to you about different topics. Here's a list of some of the topics that we're going to cover. They're very, very interesting, and they will really introduce you to the history and the culture of Spain. I will be the instructor of record. Attendance is absolutely mandatory, and we do take attendance every Tuesday. And then there will be, how many of you are not familiar with the Canvas website for online teaching? Anybody? So everybody knows it. So there will be a Canvas website for the class. And it used to be before that students had to write a diary and turn it in to me 4 times, and so I was like walking around Seville, the city with your diaries, and then you had to bring them home, and they were heavy. So what I've decided to do this year, which I think is going to be really good, is that instead of handwriting it, you're going to type it, and then you're going to upload it to the Canvas site, and that's great because then you'll have it there too, and you don't have to carry it to come back home. So that's how we're going to do it, and then. So we'll have those every Tuesday, and then we have the excursions that you are absolutely required to go to. Do you put them there?
No, they were the one to
The ones that you saw
Granada
earlier.
and Cordoba, and then you'll
Right.
have some in Seville activities as well that you'll do in coordination
Right,
with
and
this class.
you will absolutely love Granada. That's where Paula lived. And Granada was the last stronghold of the Moors before they were expelled in 1492, and the Moorish chief, if you would, was crying when he lost it, and his mother said to him, "Cry like a child what you couldn't defend like a man," because it was that beautiful and he lost it. And so being there will feel very surreal to all of you.
Actually,
and
there
that's,
we go.
That's Granada right there.
Sorry.
That's the Alhambra of Granada. That's the palace that we're going to visit, which is absolutely stunning. And then we will also see Cordoba, which was
So there's Granada.
there's Granada. Granada's amazing. You'll love Granada. And
Cordoba.
and then we're gonna visit Cordoba, which was Cordoba had the largest, after Medina, had the largest
Population.
library in
Li-
the Arab Empire, and it was very advanced, very beautiful. You will see the Mosque of Cordoba, which is incredible. It makes me cry every time I go in it. It's that pretty. And then they plot.
There it is.
That's the mosque right there. Look at that. We're gonna go visit that, and then they plopped a cathedral right in the middle of it after the Moorish people were expelled, which is really a travesty in architecture. But in reality, if they hadn't done that, I don't know that the mosque would have been
So
conserved to
beautiful.
today. So I'm happy about that. So we'll get a tour of both those places, and we'll have a local guide that will tell you all the history of both cities. So that's going to be amazing. So that's going to be a really great class, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So you'll have, besides the activities that you do in your Spanish Life and Culture course, you'll have additional activities. You'll be going to a soccer match, either Sevilla or Betis, depending on the schedule. They're the two first division teams that you have in Sevilla. A cooking class. You'll visit the Alcázar and the Cathedral of Sevilla. You'll visit Las Setas, which is a very strange wooden sculpture that is relatively new to Sevilla. You'll do some museum visits, some wine tasting, and walking tours. The optional excursions outside the city would be to Jerez and Cádiz, which I love both of those towns. Cádiz is a little island in the Atlantic, and Jerez is a very Spanish, it's a horse town. So if you like horses, you definitely want to go to Jerez.
And I believe the weekend that you picked it's Carnival weekend.
It could be.
I believe so. I think
It
it's
could
the
be.
second weekend
Right.
after we get there.
Right.
So then the
That
city's
might be
gonna
why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I contacted Ed
Yeah.
about that. So the city's gonna
Yeah.
be just filled with
Yes.
revelers that
Yes.
weekend.
So Carnival is like Mardi Gras, right? So it's very big in Spain. That's right. So just before Lent. And Doñana National Park is an excursion that you'll do for your environmental science, your geology courses. No? Oh, it's not. I'm sorry. I thought it was. Ah, okay. Oh, in Almeria. Cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So Doñana is a marshland. It's a wetlands, and it is super famous and difficult to get to on your own. So if you would like to see some of the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful natural parks in Spain, definitely Doñana. It's definitely. I've only been once with my son on a school trip because it's not something. It generally you have to go with a school group. It's very protected. There we have some photos of your cooking class. You're going to learn to make paella. Ole. So we'll be expecting, your parents are expecting you to make it when you get back. Sevilla FC. So that's a really cool stadium in Nervión. The Morocco trip, for those of you who have signed up, that will be the 8th to the 11th. That's 3 days. You'll take a bus to either Algeciras or Tarifa, and then a ferry across the Strait of Gibraltar to Tangier. And you will visit Tangier, and then Tetuan, and then Chefchaouen, which is the Blue Village in the mountains just outside of Tetuan. So that is a lot of fun, very interesting. It's a completely different experience than probably anything you've ever done or seen before. Definitely, if you did not sign up for the trip and you want to get on the wait list, then we can do that. But you will have a little opportunity to ride some camels, which is always big on everybody's list. So that is basically all of the trip information, and now we're going to talk about getting ready for the trip. So I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible.
This might be mentioned in the packing prep,
Yeah.
but I wanted to ask about Morocco specifically.
Yes.
Are there any specific clothing items for folks going to
Yes.
Morocco?
So you do not have to wear a headscarf. Absolutely not required. You'll see a lot of Moroccan women that do not cover their head. It is not really, if you're not Muslim, it's really not really appropriate. So you don't have to do that. You should wear clothing that is not short shorts or sleeveless or too low cut. That is basically our only. So jeans, pants, longer skirts. A lot of the students wear the flowy skirts, and and then shirts that are sort of a modest neckline and covering your shoulders. So it will be March. It won't be super hot yet. It'll probably be hot in the sun, but cold at night. So you definitely just short sleeve layers for that day, short sleeves, jeans. You'll be walking through a lot of unpaved, like especially when you go to the village, there'll be a lot of dirt roads. So wearing flip-flops and things like that, your feet get really disgustingly dirty. I would look at the students and be like, ah. So sneakers, comfortable walking shoes. That's basically all you need. Yeah?
So if we're on the wait list and it doesn't seem like we'll be put on the list to be
Yeah.
able to do the excursion,
Yes.
how accessible is planning a trip on our
There are agencies that run trips that you could probably sign up with. Our staff can help you with that. Okay? Yes.
Bouncing off of that,
Yes.
when will we know if we're off of the wait list, or will we be notified by a deadline just so that way,
I would
'cause it's-
ask our staff in Spain that information.
but when we get there? 'Cause
I would imagine,
it's-
yeah, you can email them.
Okay.
But it would be, I mean, this is a whole bus that we have, so
Yeah, like I said, there was a
if we
guy
had
who
someone
decided
who got sick the night before and said, I can't go to Morocco because I have, I don't feel well, we could have a space open. So it could happen very last minute.
But for sure we won't know that. That's what
I mean, as it opens up, we'll be notifying, and
But
that will be
that-
continuous. It's not like we have to the pass. It's like buying a bus ticket. There's no name involved, that kind of thing. Although nowadays, actually, bus tickets do names.
Yeah.
But with that, it could. If we had anyone drop out last minute, we could have a spot and we would offer it. But you don't have to worry about it before you get there as far as
Well, it's
finding.
not even on the wait list, so that's why I'm
Yes.
just hoping to get it.
Right,
At
so
this point,
if you wanted to sign up for an agency trip when you get there, and there's a small group of you that want to go together, that's something you could do when you got there in February. It's not something that you would have to kind of organize now.
Yeah,
You could
it's just
find it
cheaper.
later on.
Like traveling is cheaper if you find it, so that's why. But it's okay. I'll just
No,
make
those prices are set.
Yeah. No, I know for this, but I mean, if I plan an outside trip, that's fares that I'm looking into compared to if I were to buy a ticket today.
To Morocco?
You know.
Well, the trip that we run and that I'm talking about, it
No, that one's
has,
set. No, I know.
no, but
If she went
so
to
in other
the
words,
Europe-
this same trip,
Yeah.
there are travel agencies in Sevilla that will run this same trip.
Oh, okay.
So
we
it
do
wouldn't
the
be
same
involve a
trip.
flight.
Oh, okay.
It would be an agency that does a bus to a ferry to a bus in.
Okay.
So, and it's a set price. It doesn't, and there's probably be spots open for several weekends during your semester. So there's no flight involved, so there are no changes in pricing.
Thank you.
Now, if you wanted to go to Marrakesh, which is farther south because Morocco is very similar to the kind of shape and size of California. And so we're talking about the very top of it, right? Marrakesh is very far south and you could fly there. That's a whole different trip though. That's not a trip we run. Any other questions about it?
Other jumping off that, I did email them about the Morocco trip.
Yeah.
And as well as uploading my passport to the AIFS portal.
Yeah.
And I've not received a response about either emails. Is there a reason or a way we should?
If there's a question that they didn't answer, re-email it.
Okay.
Sorry.
More than sufficient.
Just a volume of work that we have right now, it could be. That's why. But re-email it. If there's a question still pending that they haven't answered, email them back. As far as packing, definitely remember you'll get one checked bag. The maximum that the bag can weigh is 50 pounds. That is an airline regulation. If it weighs over 50 pounds, the airline will charge you for an additional bag. And the fees vary, but it could be in the $80 to $100 range. So you definitely want to check and make sure that your bag is 50 or under. One carry-on, one personal item. Make sure that you bring enough medication if there's any medication that you take on a regular basis. And I'm not talking about cold and flu or Advil, that kind of thing, but there's a prescription medication or that you take on a regular basis, or it's an over-the-counter, you're not sure if you can get it in Spain, definitely bring enough for the entire trip. Bring, I say 2 towels, right? Or you can buy them in Spain, or you can bring them with you. Towels, I like about towels because when I travel with towels, then I end up just dumping them because I'm buying things, and so bring older towels or towels. But you want 2 because if you go to the beach, because it will be beach weather by the time in May when the programs, even in nice weather throughout the semester, you can go and at least lay out. The Mediterranean might be pretty cold, but you can go and lay out on the beach. So you want 1 beach and 1 bath towel. Clothing that you will wear can layer and that will wash easier. So stuff that shrinks, you don't want to bring that. You want stuff that is versatile. The Spaniards tend to dress trendy, right? They don't wear exercise clothes to class, right? So they don't wear generally the leggings they'll wear the leggings with the boot look, that Han Solo look. The leggings and the boots and the longer top, but they don't generally wear the exercise leggings, and they don't wear that. They don't wear flip-flops in the city. They tend to wear shoes with better support, because remember, you're walking on a lot. You're walking on a lot of cobblestone. I walked my way in Spain into a tendinitis, which is painful and long duration, and so the better arch support that you have, the better you'll do at that. Make sure that it doesn't rain a lot, but it's always good to have something to wear in the rain. Bring an umbrella. MP3 player cracks me up because who the heck has an MP3 player nowadays? But you definitely want your phone, your chargers, your laptop for classwork. That is definitely needed. Your charger there as well. And we're going to talk about converters versus adapters in a second. But remember that you'll probably have to carry your luggage around for the first day or 2. You'll have to bring it upstairs possibly, so make sure you can carry it. Remember that you'll be buying souvenirs, so if there's anything that any space that you can leave in your baggage, or things that you can dump like towels or something later, that's a good thing. Or make sure that your things are insured, and this comes from the mother and me as well as the on-site staff. Make sure that you have personal effects insurance. Your homeowner's policy might have that. There are also policies that you can get. We do offer an additional personal effects insurance that you can sign up for. I believe it's $95, and that would insure your phone, your laptop, your camera, your bags. So if you're pickpocketed or on the bus or in a discoteca like my son was, then I had the insurance and his brand new iPhone was covered. So that was really nice. Yes?
The luggage is just an airline regulation, right? Like if I wanted to pay for a second suitcase going back, I could do that?
Yes. Yeah, that's probably, if you're going to buy, when you're there, that's the cheapest way to get your stuff home, is to have a second. So you could bring maybe a duffel bag.
Yeah. Well, I have suitcases that fit inside of each other, so I was going to pack the
You
smaller one
are
and
a
take the
pro.
bigger one back. So
2 thumbs up. You travel like me. I used to travel like that a lot.
I can travel without it.
You got it. That's a very good strategy. Paying for the additional suitcase is going to, if you divide it up per pound, going to be a lot cheaper than mailing boxes home. Even if you send it surface mail, it can be really expensive. So that's the best way to get stuff home. All right. Don't bring bed linen or pillows. That's all provided. Expensive hair dryers and flat irons. We're going to talk about that in a second. You can buy inexpensive blow dryers there. Humidity in Sevilla means permanently frizzy hair. At least for me it does. So don't worry about flat irons. You'll be fine. You can go get really cheap blowouts in Spain and they last like a week. Let me tell you, you can get a blowout for like $15 in Spain. And they can blow out hair, ladies, and it'll last a week. Let me tell you. So I miss my Spanish hairdresser. Huh?
How do you get that?
So it is in your portal. The information is there, and you can email our U.S. staff, and that information is all in the portal. And it would be added to your bill, and you could just pay that way. All right. Don't bring heavy or expensive items. Don't bring jewelry. Stuff like gold and diamonds and all that good stuff. Leave at home. You're traveling, right? Which means when you travel as a student, it means you're wearing the same jeans 5 days in a row. It means you're wearing the same sweater and just changing your t-shirt. It means that when you're traveling, you're eating oranges, cheese, and bread. And menu del dia, which is an inexpensive menu that most restaurants offer. So that's how we all traveled, right? So, all right. No bougie people on our trips. Climate in Seville. So Seville does have probably the most similar climate to Southern California. So you will, in February, March, April, May, you'll see it's like in the 60 to 80s range for the highs and the 45 to 55s in the lows. That's very similar to what we have here. Not a lot of rain, but it does rain. And from what I understand, it's been rainy this year. So definitely, and remember, you're walking a lot, so you're out in the rain, right? It's not like going to your car like last week. You just had to get your car and you were fine. No, you have to walk 30 minutes to class. So you're out in the rain, you need a rain jacket, you need shoes that will be, all right? There's your dryer, by the way, which is funny order. This slide should have been earlier. But there are washing machines, and the cycles can last up to 2.5 hours. So they do take a long time to wash, and then when you get them out, my advice of being a mama española for many, many years is I learned to, when my wash was done, I always just put it on spin and I gave it a second spin because it cut the drying time in half. That is my trick. But you have to learn how to live a very deliberate life in Spain. Right, we live a very convenient life here in Spain where stores are open long hours in the day and they're open 7 days a week, right? Walmart closes 1 day of the year. In Spain, everything closes on Sunday. All stores, grocery stores, any kind of store that you might need to buy something in, they close on Sundays. So you have to make sure on Saturday that you have food for Sunday. Right, so you're planning, right? We're teaching you planning skills. And when you're going to travel, this is your dryer. So if you do all your laundry the night before a trip, you're going to have to travel with wet clothes, and that weighs a lot. So you have to plan your washing and drying, and right? Spain is going to teach your children. You're not going to recognize them when they get back. Your power, it really is good. I mean, even my kid, it was unbelievable to me how changed he was after coming back from Costa Rica. A good change. The power as far as what you will be, the voltage that you'll be putting into your appliances is double. Right? So in the US, the voltage is 110. In Europe, it's 220 to 240. So double the amount of electricity is going into your appliance. It is really important that you only plug in appliances that have built-in converters. And those are things like laptops, tablets, smartphones. They have built-in converters, so they're fine. Hair dryers and flat irons, remember we said don't bring expensive ones? It's because you will burn them out. And that's how you start the fire. Remember I was saying don't start a fire? That's how you start a fire, right? Remember that where you're living in regular Spanish homes, not apartments with huge circuits that are prepared for travelers from all over the world. So plugging in a hairdryer, even with a converter, something that converts the electricity, will blow the circuits at best. They could start a fire in the wall, or the appliance itself will blow up. And so I've had students set their beds on fire and their jackets on fire, so try not to do that. Bring an adapter, which is what we have pictured there at the bottom. You don't need a converter, right? Converters are heavy and clunky and large, but you do need adapters. You can get those on Amazon Prime, you can get them at Target, Walmart. My advice is always to have two. Have a travel one that's got several different plugs in case you decide you want to go to Italy, although I believe they have the same plugs as Spain, but you want to go to the UK or somewhere around Europe, then you have this larger multi-pronged, and you can travel that way. And you can have a smaller one with just the Spanish prongs, which are the two round ones. You can buy these in Spain as well, But remember, until you buy one, you have a break in the orientation and you find a store where you can buy one, you're not going to be able to charge your phone and that kind of thing. So it is good. Apple products also do have international chargers, like their own versions of these. So you could look on Apple or an Apple store as well. All right. That's the electricity. As far as money, you know that in Spain they use the euro, as well as Italy, France, Portugal. So it's nice if you travel around Europe, to many of the countries, you won't have to keep exchanging your dollars. So currently the dollar gets you 88 euro cents, and every euro costs you about that would be 112, not 114, approximately. So figure in a 15% difference, right? Definitely tell your bank that you'll be traveling, and you can set a travel advisory on your online bank system. You go into your account and you should be able to set your travel advisory. If you're not sure, then go to your bank and talk to someone there and they can help you do it, but generally you have to do it online. They say to set up online banking. I mean, is there anyone here that doesn't have online banking? So I think that's kind of redundant. Definitely you want to have two ways to get funds while you're in Spain. You want to have your debit card, which is the way that you can access Eurocash and you can make purchases, and have a credit card for backup or larger purchases, right? So if you buy an airplane ticket somewhere or something like that, you might want to use your credit card. All right, Visa and MasterCard are the most widely accepted. Not a lot of Amex because the vendor fees for Amex are high and Spanish vendors don't tend to like that. No such thing as traveler's checks anymore, even though your grandmother wants to take you to the bank and buy you traveler's checks. They don't exist anymore, but you can get travel money cards. So Visa, MasterCard have them. You can get those. So if you don't have a credit card and you get you bring your debit card and a Visa travel money card, that's good. That's a good plan. Okay. We generally recommend bringing some money in cash, $100 to $150. What I generally do is once I get to Spain, then I take out some cash from an ATM at the airport. But if you've never traveled before, you're not sure, it might be a good idea to get some Euro cash now. So you can, if needed, okay?
But I would also say, Paula, that the airport actually has the worst exchange rate.
Yeah.
So if you need some money, just get like
Yeah.
$30, whatever you
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just wait until you get into the city and get it at
Yeah.
the ATM. So you'll
Yeah.
get a better,
Yeah.
a better rate.
Sorry, I meant the ATMs at the bank, not the exchange places, so that's confusing.
Is
Question.
there a better rate there versus here?
Yes,
nowadays?
generally, yes. Yeah. So you want to talk to your bank about what your fees will be when you make an international transaction. So what kind of fee, different cards have different fees. So ask about that, what the transaction fee, cash withdrawal fees as well. Some banks have agreements with banks in Spain. For example, if you have Compass, their BBVA, which is one of the largest banks, if not the largest bank in Spain. If you have Bank of America, they work with Barclays, and you'll be able to find some Barclays around town, and they have no withdrawal fees for Barclays ATMs. If you have a credit union, I believe most of them don't have cash withdrawal fees, no matter what bank you use. So definitely talk to your bank, because all of these little hidden fees are probably going to be a factor in your budget, so you want to make sure. So we also recommend always having cash on you, but not taking little bits of cash out at a time, because that's when you start to get hit with a lot of fees. So you want to take out a larger sum of maybe 100 euros or 150 euros, and then just make sure that you have somewhere in your accommodations where you have it locked up and kept safe. So you might have a little luggage lock, and you can keep, your luggage stored under your bed or in your closet, and you can keep valuables there. All right. Wi-Fi and internet access, it's basically the same as it is here, except that the speeds will be slower. Remember, we have an average of 58 megas, is that right? Mbps versus 16 in Spain, so expect it to be slower. When all the roommates are in the apartment and you're all trying to stream things at once, it is going to stop working. WhatsApp, if you have that, that's they use very few megas. So that's a great way to communicate with parents home. And you can, and FaceTime, I believe, too, uses less megas. So excuse me for not knowing the terminology.
WhatsApp on your phone, I suggest you download it because no one sends text messages in Spain because they have to pay for it. So no one uses it. Everybody uses WhatsApp. So if you're going to communicate with people in Spain, that's the way to do it.
Exactly.
If you have the app already, I suggest you do it.
So just keep in mind that there's a time difference of 9 hours. And parents, another little trick, a little hack, life hack that I have for you, set one of your clocks to the Spain time. And then you always look and you know what time your children are on. And then just be conscious of sleep time for neighbors and stuff, because if you are Skyping with your family and you're screaming into the computer, then your neighbors are going to wake up, right? So you'll get complaints like that. The best thing is to have, those earphones with a microphone, and you don't have to scream. You can talk in a lower voice. Respect your roommates. Remember, if you live in cyberspace where you are constantly communicating back home with people or online with people, you're not going to build a life in Sevilla, right? And you're not going to be happy, because people who live in cyberspace are generally not happy. They're the most miserable in the world. So you're going to leave your life in California. You're going to come back to it before you know. But your objective and one of your goals, and you should be thinking about, what are my goals? Is it to become fluent? Is it to really live like a Spaniard? You're going to have to work at building that life while you're there. All right, so it's going to take effort and time, but if you are constantly online, then you're wasting your time. All right, so moderate communication back home so that they know that you are okay and they're not worrying. Don't drop off the face of the planet. You got to feed the beast. Upload a few pictures once in a while. It makes them happy. All right, I'm one of those beasts, so I know. But don't expect, constant 3 times a day communication. That's too much. All right. Keeping in touch. We talked about that. WhatsApp, we said, is the way to communicate with Spaniards. The best thing to do is if you have an international plan, like T-Mobile has an excellent international plan where you can use data and text messaging for free or included. AT&T doesn't, I believe, have that, but you can purchase international plans. That is something to consider. Or you can turn off your data and roaming to avoid a huge bill, because if you don't have an international plan, don't use your data and put it on airplane mode, or else you will get huge bills. You won't believe how big the bill could be, in the hundreds of dollars. Consider purchasing a local cell phone, a SIM card for an unlocked cell phone. There are a lot of different options. Our staff can help you, and it was really good at that kind of thing, so they can help you. And then you can always do snail mail too, which is fun and appreciated. Right? Definitely make sure that your electronics are insured. Use it as a Wi-Fi device. You'll have Wi-Fi in the school, at home, and a lot of different places all over town have Wi-Fi. Take care if you're using it as a map. There's a thing called maps.me, which you can use as a map offline. Maps.me, you can download that. Use common sense. Receiving mail. Be careful when you might want things, right? We always don't realize there are things that we need, so you always ask, can you send me such and such, or I miss whatever. If you do send packages, be careful, and this is for the parents, be careful what you declare on the customs form. So when you bring the package to the post office, they will give you a little green sheet to fill out, and you'll declare what's in the package plus the value. In Spain, any package that goes to Spain from a foreign country is considered importation, right? So you have a right as a person in Spain to receive up to $50 worth of used and personal goods. So if you declare medicine, cosmetics, food, electronics, things like that, and you put the value over $50, your student, to receive that package, will be charged duties, importation duties, customs fees, and sales tax. So that could be up to 30% of the declared value of the package. So it could be really expensive, yes.
This is actually kind of in relation to that.
Yeah.
Our books, should we have them sent over there? Should we carry them with us? What's the,
That would be up to your faculty, but if you can carry them,
okay, because that would be a mail.
yeah, you're going to need them, but it could be expensive. All right, as long as you say that they're used books and the value isn't over $50, yes.
I shipped my books, and this week Eddie told me that they want to charge him $200 to get them out of customs.
Right, because the value that,
It was only 6 books.
but what'd you put as the value of the books?
I didn't beforehand, I didn't know, so he was asking me, and I sent him the value. So the books that I had were about $75 each.
Right, so she's,
So take them. So you're suggesting carry them in, or what's
I am probably gonna tell him,
Carry
just leave them there, I'll take my own, I'll take another set with me.
carry them on?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not worth it.
as far as medicine, cosmetics, and foods, they cannot be imported to the European Union, actually. It's a European Union rule. So if you do list medicine, cosmetics, and food on a package, it will automatically be rejected by Spanish customs. All right, and I'm even talking medicated soap.
Is there any way that they can buy the books over there?
They can't buy their books over there, right? They're not there, unfortunately. But they can get nearly every other kind of product. You can get all kinds of shampoos and all kinds of brands and food. I mean, they have larger supermarkets, smaller supermarkets with all kinds of U.S. products. I mean, not everything, but it's good to miss something. Look forward to it. Yes?
So then we should put our books in our bags.
Yeah, like a carry-on or something.
Maybe in your carry-on.
Maybe check them.
You could too. Just keep in mind that you have up to 50 pounds.
Oh, I see.
I mean,
They're part of the 50 pounds. All right. All right. The mailing address is the AIFS Study Center. So once a package comes in there, then our staff will let you know. As far as health and insurance, we have excellent comprehensive insurance, and you are covered for any incident or issue that you have there. So if you need to see a doctor, you are covered, cold, flu, UTI, breakage of a bone, hopefully not, let's knock wood, all of that stuff. That would all be covered. We have, like I said, excellent medical facilities there, and we know all kinds of doctors. We have great networks of all kinds of doctors. If you have a pre-existing condition, the coverage would be limited to $500. So it is good that you speak to your current medical insurance company, let them know you're going abroad, and if something happens, what you need to do. There's no dental coverage, and there are some English-speaking medical services, and our staff will assist you. We have a male and a female staff member, and they will go with you.
Is the pharmacy and doctors around the?
All over the city. There are pharmacies on every single corner. And pharmacies, you can go in and ask for a good recommended cold and flu, and they can do that as well.
24 hours?
They, not all of them, but a lot of them are.
Except Sundays.
Nope, they're open at 24/7. Yeah, pharmacy would be 24/7.
And they have a green cross.
Very.
That doesn't mean it's a marijuana
Yeah, it was
dispensary.
like-
That's what they do.
That would marijuana is.
Okay.
For the pharmacies. Okay.
All right. If you want our staff to go with you to the pharmacy, they will. So don't hesitate to ask if you're not sure or you need some help. All right. Like Anna mentioned, or Professor Anna, pardon, and mentioned that you need to look after yourself. You definitely have to look after yourself. I mean, Spain is exciting. It's fast-paced. There's so much to do and so much to see, and you're so excited. But you do have to make sure that you take care of yourself. And what does that mean? You have to eat right, especially if you live in a student apartment. You have to make sure that you eat vegetables and eat some fruit and eat some protein. Just, you tend to want to cut back on, but you can go to supermarkets and buy, chicken and some fish and eat a healthy diet. It makes a huge difference. Also, get some rest. Especially when you'll be jet lagged, 9 hours kills me. You're going to be taking an overnight flight, you miss a day, don't get a good night's sleep. You need to rest in the beginning and take some small, short naps until you get on the Spanish time zone and the Spanish schedule. But then once you're adjusted and you start to go out all night and go to class, you are burning the candle at both ends. You're living like Miley Cyrus, and we all know what happened to her, right? Even Miley Cyrus stopped living like Miley Cyrus after a while because she couldn't do it. So definitely take care of yourself, eat properly, get rest, hydrate. Once it starts to warm up into Sevilla, it gets humid and hot, and hydration is huge. I've had students drop like flies in Sevilla, and they needed hydration and rest, and so definitely take care of yourself.
Protecting the money so they doesn't get
Yes,
stolen.
we will definitely do that. That's health and security. I'll get there. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna say, someone had said that they don't eat dinner till like 9 p.m.
Right, so they do eat dinner later. You want to, they have a very light breakfast of just coffee or hot chocolate and a piece of toast or a pastry. And then they do take a break midday and they eat maybe a sandwich or something like that. So that snack wouldn't be provided, but you can get that really inexpensively somewhere, or you can buy snacks and bring them with you, right? Even in the homestay, you'll have places to store snacks. Then they have a really big lunch. That's the biggest meal of the day. The mid-afternoon day, they tend to snack on a pastry or have a cup of coffee or something like that, and then they eat dinner late. So yeah, they eat dinner at 8, 9 o'clock. Yes.
Are the pharmacies there like the ones in Mexico where you can buy an antibiotic without?
You cannot. They are highly regulated. Highly regulated.
So
You have to.
see that doctor first, and then
Yes, exactly like in the United States. Yes, ma'am. The one difference is the dosages tend to be a little higher there, so they tend to get healthier faster because they don't give you smaller dosages. That's what I found. Anything else? No? Okay, good. One thing as far as health and safety, and we will cover what you just mentioned in a second, but it is important that you register. This is on your to-do list. Register with the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. Department of State STEP program. So if you Google STEP, this will come up. The Smart Traveler Enrollment Program is a website run by the Department of State, and you will register your trip there. So you'll have to have your flight itinerary with you, the school address with you, and your passport information with you. And you'll be able to update it if you take trips outside of Spain. So this is important because if anything were to happen, be it natural or man-made disaster or something that required help of the United States government while you were abroad, this makes it so much easier because you're already registered in their system. So if there were some kind of important incident in anywhere around the world, they will automatically have a database of who is where. All right? So if you're traveling around Europe, it's important that you update this. It's also, sorry, I was just looking. It's also, and it's here somewhere, it's also mandatory that every time you leave the city of Sevilla overnight, you let staff know where you're going. That is not it's mandatory that you all do this. So if you are taking a trip on your own on one of those 4-day weekends to Paris, you have to let us know the dates you're going. You have to know where you're staying. We have to know your travel plans, flight information, bus information, train information, all right? We have offices in cities all around Europe. And if something were to happen while you were traveling and we knew where you were, our staff could help you. If we don't know where you are, then it makes our job so much more difficult. What we also do is if there is an incident in the country where you are, where the program happens, then we check in with all of our students, right? So if an incident, a train accident, bus accident, or God forbid something man-made, and we all watch the news, you know what I'm talking about. If something happens, then we check in with every single one of our students, right? So if most of the time we know about it before they hear, they're traveling, they're off, they're doing their thing, they haven't heard. But it is important that you have some way for us to contact you, right? So you're checking your email, you are on a regular basis. We do not stop until we can verify the safety of each one of our students. If it happens outside of the country of Spain, we generally we assume you're still in Spain if you haven't notified us you're outside. So if something happens in Germany and you haven't notified us you're in Germany, we're not looking for you, right? So it's really important that you comply with this, all right? It's for your own benefit. Your parents definitely want you to, okay?
I was gonna say too,
Yes.
Usually people are worried about what if there's a terrorist attack, right? The year before I went to Spain 2 years ago, my son was at UC Riverside, and there was a terrorist attack at that, remember that Social Security building? And it was in Riverside, so it could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, while I was in Spain in 2016, there was a terrorist attack in Belgium. And I can tell you that within 40 minutes, every single student in the program was accounted for. And I was so impressed by that, because AIFS has everybody's phone number. So we know that you parents worry, and we worry too, about everyone. So that's something that we're going to action immediately if something happens.
Right.
So
So how are we looking for students? We're calling you, we're emailing you, we're looking for you on Facebook, Instagram. We're trying every single means possible. So we do need you to respond and let us know that you're okay. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Is there an American consulate near Sevilla?
There is an American consulate in Malaga, which is not very far. Malaga, which is south there, in Torremolinos, is about 2 hours from there. There is the main embassy in Madrid, in Madrid. So, yeah. Safety and security. So once you sign up for this step, you're automatically sent by email U.S. Department of State travel advisories. So if there's anything going on that the State Department wants to warn citizens about, then you will get those emails. We also get them and we pass them on to the group as well. It is important that you make photocopies of your passport before you go. You need to leave a photocopy of your passport home with your family. You need to take at least 2 copies with you, one that you carry with you on a daily basis and keep your passport locked up in your housing, so leave it locked up in your suitcase. You also want to scan one and email it to yourself. All right, it's really good. When you get there, well, no, actually we have copies of your passport already because you've uploaded them to, right? You got an email, I know they copied me in on that, right? That you needed to scan and upload your passport for the Alhambra tickets. Definitely limit expensive items, we talked about that. Neutral clothing, we tend to say that as we've been doing that for years, not to really look very touristy or look very American. Remember, tourists are more of an easy, target for pickpockets and things like that. So the more you try and look like a Spaniard, the better. So like I sort of went into, Spaniards don't wear exercise clothes, they tend to dress a little trendier, right, when they are around. Definitely when you're on public transportation, stay alert. Make sure that you are keeping close eye on your stuff. In your backpack, you don't want to be on a bus and have your laptop, your tablet, your phone, all of that in your backpack. You want to keep it in front of you, keep your finger on the zipper. They're very good at opening and slipping things out. They're really good at discotecas in pickpocketing right out of your front pocket, so you want to be really careful with your stuff. All right. Emergency contacts again. This was the contact phone number that we gave you, but your parents, if you have an emergency, parents can call this as well. But again, emergency only. It's not, can you tell me so-and-so's phone number? Can you tell me so-and-so where they live? Can you tell me when the bus leaves from Madrid? That kind of thing, no. But this is an emergency phone. Every time that phone rings, our staff has a heart attack because it means, it's like the bat signal. It means somebody's in distress. So asking silly questions like that are not appropriate. Those are for office hours or email, all right? Definitely make sure you have it programmed in your phone and be careful about programming it under AIFS because we're generally first in your contact list and we get butt dialed at 6, 3, 4, 5 a.m. and it's terrible. So maybe under emergency phone or something like that, it would be best to program it. And again, you want to make sure that you have calling capability. You might want to keep your phone an airplane mode and just use it as a Wi-Fi device, but if you have an emergency, you have to call. You can't Facebook us and expect us to wake up in the middle of the night. Or you can't text us and expect us to wake up in the middle of the night. It doesn't work that way. You have to be able to call. All right.
So full of questions.
That's full.
So we have 911 here.
Yes.
Say you were,
Yes.
somebody ran you off the
Yes.
sidewalk.
Yes.
What's the equivalent?
Sorry,
over there?
I didn't cover that. Our staff will cover that when they get on site. They will be given an emergency card, which will give them this number on a little card to keep in their wallet. It'll be laminated, and it will have the 911 of Spain. And all of Europe has a singular emergency number. It's 112. 112. So they can dial 112. It's a free call always, and they can ask for an English operator. There's English, French, German speaking operators on duty 24/7. Absolutely. So there are emergencies and there are emergencies. They'll be taught that there are certain emergencies that happen that the 112 call is the first call you make, and then you call AIFS.
Thank you.
Our staff will educate them when we get there. As far as disciplinary procedures, remember that this is a study abroad program, not a party abroad or a travel abroad program. So you are students first, right? So you're expected to go to class, participate in activities, study, do your homework the same way you are here. You are Citrus students. All of you, no matter what school you come from, are now enrolled at Citrus College, and you're subject to their code of conduct and disciplinary procedures. And I see John up circling, he's coming. You all have signed an agreement and release form. So when you enrolled in the program, you ticked a box and you probably didn't read it. But if you go back into it and you click on that button, you'll read what you agreed to. And essentially you agreed to a code of conduct similar to Citrus's. You agree that, and our staff will give you the code of conduct to reinforce that with you when you're there. Essentially, highlights are no use of illegal substances. That is, there's a zero tolerance policy for that. That means automatic and immediate removal from the program. All right. So the use of marijuana in Spain is not legalized like it is here. It's decriminalized, but it's not a legal substance. So my suggestion is if you are a regular marijuana user now, you want to get off the substance. We do also have certain rules of conduct, such as zero tolerance for abuse, and that could be verbal, physical, or emotional. We do have zero tolerance for, you are all 18 years old and above, so that means you are of legal alcohol drinking age, but it is within limits, right, of healthy and prudent usage. So if you are using alcohol to the point where you are drunk, you become physically ill, that is against the student conduct policy. All right. If you use alcohol and you get so drunk that you can't take care of yourself, in other words, you're stranded someplace all alone in a bar with strangers and you're so drunk you can't get yourself safely home, that is against student conduct policy. It also puts you, it's a health and safety issue to us. It puts you in a lot of danger. I have seen students come to Spain and, realize they can drink and not understand, the physical consequences of drinking so much alcohol that it makes them ill and puts them in safety risk. So you are then a target and prey for random strangers that want to steal your stuff or do you physical harm. So in probably 98% of the incidents we've had, alcohol is a factor. Right? Students are so drunk they can't take care of themselves. So that will not be tolerated, all right? Before John gets up here, I'll just finish by saying that we operate a warning system. Depends on the incident, but generally it's a 3 strikes you're out. First incident, you're spoken to by AIFS staff and faculty. You're issued a verbal warning. Citrus is notified. It's on your permanent record. Second incident that happens, you're given a written warning, again subject to disciplinary action here on campus. Third warning, we feel that your safety is in imminent danger and you're sent home. John.
Yeah. So as Paula said, Citrus
College has a student code of conduct, and it applies to these programs because the campus abroad is an extension of Citrus College. So if you violate those rules, then you're subject to that code and you could be removed from the classes. It's really hard for something like that to happen. I think students go over there and they experience a lot of freedom, and then they can lose their common sense and abuse that freedom. So as long as you're using common sense, you're fine, but we've had students removed because they use drugs in the homestay or the apartment, which obviously don't do that. But if you get removed, you're still on the hook for the fees you paid because those expenses have been paid by AIFS. So just use common sense, don't lose control. We've even had students who had arguments in their apartment and they get in a fight, and there's no tolerance for fighting, obviously. If it happens here on campus, you would be removed from your courses as well. So it's the same thing, so just be
You
respectful.
lose your financial aid when that happens.
Yes, so
And you're still on the hook to AIFS for
Right.
what financial aid paid for. So
yeah. And then other than that, there's Title IX as well, which covers sexual harassment, and that will apply abroad as well as here. And if you feel there's been a violation, you can go to Citrus College Study Abroad or the Citrus College site and find it. But on the Study Abroad site, it's right there on the left. There's Title IX. It has Brenda Fink's contact information. Or you can contact Anna or me, so you can speak to any of us about that. Okay? Any other things we should cover? Anna?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Sorry to bum you out with the rules, but we have to say it.
no, truly, I mean, if you just, we want you to have a wonderful learning experience, right? This will change your life. This is an amazing, transformative time. But you have to be smart. You can't lose control. And alcohol is a factor that you have to learn to manage, right? So, okay, believe it or not, I'm done. I know you're tired of hearing my voice.